Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheryl if you are new here, and today I am here to bring you my final unhaul. And what I mean by this is I have been unhauling a lot of books recently on my channel because I'm going to move soon, and I finally looked through my shelves and did the final purge. All of my other books are packed up. These books are not coming with me when I move, and in fact I'm going to have price tonight to try to sell them. So without further ado, let's just get to this. These are going to be in no particular order. They are going to be just so series and stuff are going to be out of order. There's just the order there next to me. And I'm not going to be able to say too much about each book because there aren't a lot of them. So without further ado, let's just get to this. So the first book I'm unhauling is Congo by Michael Crichton, and I'm unhauling this because I have found that the only Michael Crichton book I enjoy is Jurassic Park, and that's probably because there's dinosaurs. All of the rest of them seem to be just really boring or not well written. I have tried The Andromeda Strain, I have tried Congo, I have tried a few others by him, and none of them capture my attention. So it's time for me to stop holding on to this. You can see I got I think maybe 22 pages in and said no. So the same goes for this next book, and that's Timeline by him, although I did not try this one, and the premise does sound interesting. My experience with trying to read Michael Crichton books is just not positive so far, so I'm just gonna give it up. This next book I'm getting rid of is Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. I've just held on to this one forever. I have read, I think there's 4 in the series, and I read the first 3, and I just haven't read the last one, but that was years ago when I was in high school. This was the last one I was holding on to for nostalgia's sake, but it is time for it to go. I might one day pick it up in a nicer edition, but right now this one's just a beat up, messed up mass market, so it is time for it to go. This next one I'm getting rid of is actually only because I have a better edition of it, and that is Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Edgar Allan Poe. I have a nice hardcover edition of all of his stories and poems, so I just don't need this. I literally don't. It's taken up too much space. Well, I mean, it's tiny, so not that much space, but you know. This next one is John Saul's Nightshade. I try to read horror. I really enjoy Stephen King, and I enjoyed this one, just not enough to want to keep it, and yeah, it was alright. Now, if you guys have any recommendations for some good horror books in the same vein as Stephen King and stuff, let me know. They can be from this author because I enjoyed reading them, but if you have any specific book recommendations, let me know in the comments because I'm looking for more horror that isn't Stephen King, but it's just hard for me to find apparently. So this next one, I struggled with whether or not I wanted to get rid of it, and that is Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. This is the second one in the Outlander series, and I read Outlander, I think last year. Yeah, last year, the year before, and it was alright. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as some people do, but I didn't absolutely hate it. What made me really uncomfortable was the romanticizing the main love interest the way it did, even though he was abusive and rapey at times, and the fact that every single male character that our main female character came across tried to rape her or assault her. There was just a lot of gratuitous rape in this book for no reason really. So yeah, I've decided not to continue on, especially because this is nearly 1,000 pages long, and I'm not that interested to begin with. There are so many other books I want to read. This is just not one of them. Alright, getting through the mass markets. The next one is The Mist by Stephen King. I have this in the original short story bind-up. I don't remember which one it is. Night Shift, maybe? So I don't need to keep it as a separate copy, even though it is my favorite, yeah, I would say it's my favorite short story of his. The next one is Heaven by V.C. Andrews. I picked this up because I enjoy V.C. Andrews' writing style. Her stories are really, really strange and way too full of incest most of the time, but I digress. But I've never picked it up, and I've had it on my shelf for quite a while, so it is time for it to go. Recently, if you saw my last unhaul, I got rid of The Vampire Armand. Did not realize I still had Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, so I'm getting rid of it because I was only holding on to this for nostalgia's sake, but she's really crazy. I'm never going to reread the series. I don't particularly care for this edition. It's just time for it to go. But I think that is all of the mass markets, so let's just get into all of the other books. The first one is Shudder by Courtney Almada. I started reading this, gosh, I don't even know, 2-3 years ago. I got, apparently, 118 pages and didn't even leave off on a paragraph, just in the middle of a paragraph, and I just never picked it up again, and I'd have to start over from the beginning. And I know I just said that I'm looking for more horror novels, but this one just didn't do it for me. It's basically like fighting ghosts by taking photos of them, which isn't a unique concept, but it didn't appeal to me that much, so it's time for it to go, even though I do enjoy the cover. This next one is Arkham Tales, The Legends of the Haunted City by a variety of authors, and if you know anything about me, you know I really enjoy Lovecraft and Lovecraft stories. This is an anthology of Lovecraftian inspired stories, either set in Lovecraft, like, I guess I can take my bookmark out, Lovecraft locations or whatnot, but some of these were okay, but some of these were really bad, and I just don't have a desire to keep it. I got like 117 pages in of a less than 300 page book and couldn't do it anymore, so yeah, it's just time for this one to go. My books are falling everywhere. Oh, fuck me. Too many books. Alright, this next one I'm getting rid of is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which I also got from Half Price Books, so I'll have to take that sticker off. And this is by Seth Grahame-Smith. You know, it was good when I read it. I just don't have a desire to ever reread it, and I didn't enjoy it that much, and I'm only trying to keep the books I really enjoyed recently, so it's just time for it to go. This next stack of books is probably the most controversial on this list, but should not come as a surprise if you did see my recent Twitter poll in which I asked if I should get rid of the series, and most of you said yes, because it is trash, and that is Miss Sarah J. Maas's entire Throne of Glass series. Queen of Shadows is buried here somewhere, which makes me kind of sad to get rid of that one, because that cover is like fire, but it is a really big book, and I don't have that much shelf space. But basically, I loved the series when I first started it, and then it just progressively got worse and worse. Towards the end, it just started to become honestly interchangeable with her ACOTAR series, and I do enjoy the ACOTAR series a lot more. I'm going to keep those, that's for sure, but this is just... doesn't do it for me anymore. They take up so much space, and honestly, even if I had kept this series, I probably wasn't going to buy the last one. I was going to like get it from my library, which I still probably will because I've made it this far, even though I haven't read Tower of Dawn because I don't like Kale, unpopular opinion. But yeah, it's time to get rid of these. Maybe someone else can enjoy them more than I did, because by this point I haven't been enjoying them. Okay, these books are falling on me, so I'm going to show them next. This next one is one that I read in high school. I literally never heard anyone on BookTube talk about it, like ever. Oh, a bird. Anyway, I've never heard anyone talk about it on BookTube, but it's one of those that I actually wanted to reread recently, but I realized it's probably one of those that, like, I enjoy it in memory and the nostalgia of it, but if I reread it, I'd probably not like it very much, and that is Wraithu by Storm Constantine. This is like a weird sci-fi futuristic dystopian society following a new race of humanoid hermaphroditic people that are taking out man, and they're like superior in every way, and it follows them and their society. And like I said, it was interesting when I read it. Would I love it as much if I reread it? No, and this is an anthology, so it's actually 3 books, but it's still taking up so much room. It's time for it to go, especially if I don't want to reread it ever. This next one is the end of an era, I guess, and that is Twilight and Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. I have New Moon in here somewhere. I purchased these and then read them and then did reviews over them. You can see them, they're all tabbed up, and I did those for my channel, so you should check those out if you want some of my ranty thoughts about these. But I just don't want to keep these. I don't want to move with them. They are not fun. They don't bring me joy when I look at them. I do intend to get the last one and read it to continue and finish the series on my channel. However, I don't want to keep these anymore. I don't like looking at them. They make me mad, and books should not make you mad, but these do. This next one is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I enjoyed this in high school, just never wanted to reread it, and with the current controversy surrounding this author, I don't want to support him, nor do I want to keep his book anymore, so it's going. This next one is Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. Hosseini. I am so bad with names. But anyway, this is one of those books that I kept because everyone talks so highly of it, and I'm like, okay, well then obviously I gotta read it at some point. It's been like 5 years and I haven't read it, and I can't just keep holding on to it, telling myself I'm gonna read it to see what all the fuss is about. It's time for it to go. If I decide to ever one day actually pick it up, I'll just get it from my library because it is so prominent in everywhere. But yes, and this next one is The Help by Catherine Stockett. I'm getting rid of this because I read it forever ago. I enjoyed it, just don't want to reread it. No need to keep it. It wasn't a favorite of mine. It's just taking up space, which is what is the case for most of these books. Like this one, The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson. I enjoyed his Mistborn series, at least Mistborn. I haven't continued on. I intend to continue on, and I intend to read some of his other series. This one just hasn't appealed to me. I've had it forever and I've never read it, so it's time for it to go. This next one is one I might keep, I'm not sure. I think my husband got it, and that is John Waters' Role Model. I just don't have any desire to pick this up. Like I said, I might keep it because my husband might want to keep it, but as of right now, no desire to read it. And if you have literally no desire to read a book, why keep it? That's my motto, I guess. Alright. So the next one is Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne Collins, and I know this is like influential and iconic in, I think, middle grade? Yeah, middle grade fiction, but I bought it because I heard so much good things about it, but I never read it when I was younger, so why keep it? I'm not reading it. I haven't read it in the long time I've owned it. It's gotta go. All these books are taking up space. This next one is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Once again, read it, enjoyed it, no need to keep it. This next chunky ass book is also from half price, and that is Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I am only getting rid of this because, one, it's a really fat ass anthology, or collection. I don't know if anthology is the word I'm looking for. Bind up. However, I got the collection, the bind up, as an ebook instead for free through having Kindle Prime or Amazon Prime. So people walking by, don't look at me. So there's no real reason to keep it. This one is not in very good condition to begin with, and if I'm gonna read like a 1,000-page book, I'd much prefer to read it as an ebook. So that's what I'm gonna do. So it's time for this one to go. Sleeping Naked is Green by Vanessa Farquharson. Farquharson, that's what I'm gonna say. Basically, this is a nonfiction about this woman who decided to go green and take it to the extreme and like document it with a very like humorous twist, and I enjoyed it. Some of the stuff she did I would not do, which like getting rid of my refrigerator, because I like that. I use it all the time. But she did like share tips like using less plastic and that kind of stuff. So it was fun to read, just no real need to keep it, and if I really want to look up more tips on how to go green or be more eco-friendly, the internet is a great place for it. This next one is Napoleon's Privates, 2,500 Years of History Unzipped by Tony Perrottet, and basically this is a nonfiction, like, humorous look at some of the things you don't really learn in history class, some of the weird things that have happened in history, which are some of my favorite things to learn about. I love history, especially the weird and zany things, but this was fun to read, just no need to keep it, because I'm not gonna reread it, so yes. This next one is The Year of Ice by Brian Malloy, and I got this, oh my gosh, forever ago. Like, I couldn't even tell you when. I got this like when I was in high school at least. Basically it follows a gay teen in the 70s and his struggles. And it was good. I remember it being very good and interesting, but I don't really like contemporary, well, is it just regular fiction if it's from the 70s? You know what I mean. I don't like non-fantasy books, and so I'm never gonna reread it, so I just don't need to keep it. It's moved with me so many times, it's time for it to stop moving with me. Alright, we're like halfway through, I think, maybe. Alright, this next one is The Zombie Survival Guide, The Complete Protection from the Living Dead by Max Brooks, and this is just like a satirical, humorous, literal survival guide of what you would do if there was a zombie apocalypse, and it was fun. at the time. I just don't ever see myself rereading it. I don't ever see a need to keep it. So yeah, it's time for it to go. I need to look up survival tips. Once again, the internet is a great place. Why do publishers fucking put stickers? Ugh, they're so irritating. Okay, what the fuck? This yellow sticker has somehow managed to start losing its yellow and stain my fingers. I mean, I know that this book is like 8 years old by this point, and I've never taken the sticker off, but like, do you really gotta stain my fingers yellow? The fuck? Alright. This next one is, oh gosh, what is your name? Stephen Colbert's I Am America and So Can You. I like Stephen Colbert. He's a, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a comedian who talks about politics, and I enjoy his point of view and his shows. I just don't need to keep this book. It's taken up so much space because it's such an awkward size. This next one is a coffee table book called The Philosophy Book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. It is the library edition as well. I've flipped through this before and enjoyed it at the time, but there's just no real need to keep it. It's a really heavy book too, because it's like those really fancy glossed pages, and it's taken up a lot of space. This next one, I'm probably going to give back to my dad instead of sell it because it is his, or at least ask him if he wants it back, and that is The Gunslinger, The Dark Tower 1, so like the first book in this series by Stephen King, and I don't like this series. I didn't like this book, which is saying something because I enjoy Stephen King. As I previously said, I quite enjoy most of the books I read by him. Some of them are a little long and drawn out, but most of the books I've enjoyed, but I did not know what the fuck was going on in this book. Like, I know it's supposed to be his, like, ultimate series. It ties in threads from the different universes, but, like, it wasn't good. I didn't like the writing. It was confusing. It was weird, which weird is fine, but, like, not that weird. This next one is Sisters Read by Jacqueline Pierce, who is the person that got me into booktube. This author did, because I found her channel, which I don't know if it's still active or not, but I found her channel and then subsequently found all of the big YouTubers, booktubers after. But yeah, I enjoyed this book when I read it. It's like a play on Little Red Riding Hood, where these are two like wolf or monster fighting sisters. But just no need to keep it. I'm not gonna reread it. I'm not continuing in the series because she has a few that are, I think they're all set in the same world, with their spins on fairy tales. Like, I think one of them Sweetly, which is like Hansel and Gretel, but I'm just not gonna reread them, or that one, or continue on. This next one also has a fucking sticker on it. I need to get better about taking stickers off of books so that I don't have to deal with them later. And that's Egyptian Religion by Sir Wallace Budge. This is a just non-fiction, really well researched look at Egyptian religion, which is something I'm fascinated by. I don't mind reading scholarly works on it, but I just don't need to keep it because I'm not going to reread it. And it is taking up space. Big surprise. We got Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know why I still have this book. I genuinely thought I unhauled it forever ago. I might have said I did, but didn't. Yeah, just no need to keep it. It is what it is. It wasn't my favorite. That's for sure. This next one is Suburban Safari, A Year on the Lawn by Hannah Holmes. This is just a, like, humorous look at nature and ecosystems, and she literally looks like at her backyard and like details all the different processes down to like the grass and down to the bugs and how everything kind of interacts and as one, and I really like that because that's my favorite thing to do with like science is ecology, but I'm just not going to reread it, and it's taking up space. Oh gosh, I'm starting to knock over stacks. This next one, it makes me kind of sad because I really like this cover, and that is The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. This cover is beautiful. It's like buttery. It's ideal for a hardcover, but the story was not ideal, and I was genuinely disappointed when I read it because the premise is so fascinating. This man is just reborn over and over and over. He's like in a time loop kind of thing, like think Groundhog Day time loop, but he remembers his previous life so he can compound on his knowledge and just know how to change events, and it was just not well executed, and so I'm getting rid of it. It takes up too much space. This next one is one I'm going to have to ask my husband if he wants to keep or not, and is boring to most of you probably, but it's just a book on HTML and CSS. Don't know where it came from, but it's taking up space. See if he still wants it. This next one is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. I accidentally bought like the abridged like YA version of this book somehow, and read that and didn't realize it at the time until I actually finished it. I found this one for really cheap, but I just never picked it up because I know the story now. I looked up the differences between the two when I finished the abridged version, so I know what they've cut, which is some deep stuff, but I just don't have any desire to read this. It's taking up space. I'm not gonna read it. I already read the other one. Kind of shot myself in the foot with that, but here's New Moon, like I mentioned before, getting rid of it. Gotta take all those tabs out. This next one is Going Bovine by Libba Bray. I just realized that I don't think Libba Bray's for me. I did not enjoy her Gemma Doyle trilogy. I read the first one, didn't enjoy it. I just read The Diviners, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't like the writing style, and that's what I didn't like with the first one, and unless she just spontaneously changes her writing style with this one, I don't think I'm gonna like it, and no point in keeping it. This next one also has a sticker. Who would have guessed? And that is, I guess I should show you first, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, a novel by Mark Haddon. I enjoyed this when I read it, but I just don't ever see myself rereading it, and once again, I'm only trying to move with the books that like mean something to me, bring me joy, if you will, and that's not one of them. This next one I got accidentally in the like large print edition, but that's not why I'm getting rid of it, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I'm getting rid of this because I didn't know what the fuck was going on when I started this book, which is a common complaint for a lot of people, but like it didn't grip me. I'm just not gonna keep it. I'll keep a book if it's confusing, if it's also interesting, and this was confusing and boring, so I'm just not for me. Got a hard pass. And this next one is another Stephen Colbert book, America Again, Re-Becoming the Greatest We Never Weren't. Same reason as the other one, just taking up a lot of space. Another controversial one. Well, before I show you that one, here's Queen of Shadows. Goodbye. Oh, just look. This cover is beautiful. I really love this red. It's just gotta go. This next one, like I said, kind of controversial. It's Night Film by Marisha Pessel. Didn't enjoy this one. I got 77 pages in. I didn't like the main character. I found him like incredibly pretentious. So I just don't ever see myself picking this up again. I know it's like a lot of people's favorite book, but a lot of people also hated it. So I don't know what to feel about my decision not to read it, but I'm not going to, so there's that. This next one makes me genuinely so sad because I loved these when I read them. In fact, if you go on my Goodreads, I think I gave them pretty high ratings. But I'm getting rid of them because the creators, and that is Rat Queens Volume 1 and 2. I don't remember the exact details, but more or less, the team behind this graphic novel series allowed a domestic abuser to come back on their team and make money from the books, and I just don't want to support someone who thinks it's okay to abuse people. So it's unfortunate, but I'm just not continuing on with these, and I'm going to get rid of the two I have because it just makes me sad to look at them. We're almost there. The last things I'm going to talk about are manga, so if you're not interested, thank you for sticking around this long. But yeah, I decided to really get rid of most of my mangas. I'm keeping my like favorites like Death Note and Sailor Moon, but I'm getting rid of most of the other ones. The first set of graphic novels of manga I'm getting rid of are Happy Hustle High. This is 1, 3, 4, and 5. The first one is, I don't know if you can see with the lighting, the first one is so faded compared to the other ones because it's so much older. Basically, I found the first one like years and years and years ago, loved it, couldn't ever find like the other ones. I went back to the same bookstore every time I went to Barnes & Noble, never found the other ones, and then I happened to win like a fill your own bag thing at half price, and I happened to find 3, 4, and 5, but it was like years later, and I never bothered to read a synopsis for the second one to continue on, so I'm just not keeping these anymore. The next ones I'm getting rid of are Beauty Pop, volumes 1, 2, 3, and 5. As you can see, I just have a habit of not picking up the volumes I'm missing. But once again, It just a manga series about a hairdresser, and it was fun when I read it, just no need to keep it. And this next one, last one actually, because this is the last series, and I'm going to talk about it all at once. And this series genuinely makes me kind of sad that I'm getting rid of it, even though I am getting rid of it. And that is, these are all out of order, Katakyo Hitman Reborn, and I'm getting rid of this because they take up so much space, because I have volumes 1 through 6, 9, 10, and 14, and, like, as you can see by the fact that I can't fucking even hold them, yeah, they take up a lot of fucking space, and I'm not reading them, as you can tell by the giant gaps in between 6 and 9, and 10 and 14. I've had these for years and have never filled in those gaps. Even if I have found them cheaply, I never bought them and filled them in. So obviously I don't intend to read them. Why am I keeping them? And like, it makes me sad because it's like one of my favorite animes and manga series from when I was younger. But if I'm not even gonna bother to continue on, why bother keeping them is my motto, I guess. I have a lot of mottos apparently. But yeah, that is everything. There are so many books here. I would count them if I wasn't lazy, but there's a lot of books, and those are all the ones I'm getting rid of. I hope to get something back at half price. I've never actually sold books back to half price, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social media, which are always linked down below, and I will see all of you guys in my next video.